Well, howdy everybody. Welcome to the weekend. So this is Steve, 1,000-year home. I am building a house that'll last 1,000 years. But today I'm doing restorative agriculture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my tractor here and rip in a pasture among all of this. So let me rotate. So these guys here, and there's a couple of cows. We want to turn this area into a pasture. So I'm going to get in with my tractor. I'm going to rip out all those Yaupons that you see. I read that Yaupons are a Native American tea, and when the British found out we had so many tea leaves available, they rebranded the species. It should be in the tea family, and they rebranded it Yaupon so as to deprive America of its tea trade back in the early 1700s. So that's what I read. But these guys need a little more than just, they've got grain and hay back there. But let's try to get them some green stuff that's not just Yaupons and pine needles and whatnot. So we'll do all that. Vasavaro the wolf is keeping good track of me. So now it is hard to video and be in heavy brush, and I'm just as likely to get scratched as not. Safety glasses are mandatory, but I will. This guy loves being loved. He loves being loved. So, anyway, I've got a front paddock that I'm going to do first, and the idea is to leave enough of the native brush hedgerow that the road isn't visible, and but then we'll pull, and I brought a disc as well. We'll pull a disc and we'll go ahead and disc all this up and get some deep shade grass seed. We'll see if we can put some grass back here for these animals. Well, this is pretty heavily wooded here, and I'm not sure we could get enough light streaming down. But in addition to removing all the brush, the scrub brush, any tree that's beetle killed or reached its age, drought killed, we'll go ahead and cut those out of there. Try to shore up the cedar, above our head a little bit so there's no branches that scratch eyes. So we'll see if we can do that. Let's go ahead and pull the old tractor off. So while I have the shredder in the air, let's talk about a maintenance on a little bit here. So I've already greased the PTO shafts, the U-joints. I've checked the gearbox, the fluid's great on it. We'll take a look at the blades. Now, I don't sharpen these blades. There's two trains of thoughts on these blades. One is to give them sharp so they cut right through everything. But I have learned that if you leave them dull, they break up the saplings in a way, the brush, that it doesn't sprout back. In other words, it damages, creates so much damage to it that that they get all shredded, whatever you run over, and then it's hard. If you cut them really well, then their stem cells will allow them to reshoot up and you'll get a brush. But if there's lots of shredding, then there's so much surface area the stem cells can't figure out where to start, and they don't get a shredding. Now, take a look at the box blade pins here. See how they swivel? They're all on a pin. All right, so I like to start out, of course, with them not all cantilevered, but these, when they hit a stone or a log or anything, they'll give. They'll swivel out of the way. They might bind up, and then I'll stop. Barbed wire gets in. They're not solid. They won't bend the shaft. They'll give. Within reason, I want to drive through a gravel pit. But this is the kind of shredder that you want. I'm going to guess these bars are every bit of a half-inch thick. I can grind up to 3-inch logs. Now, anything I can run over with this Mahindra, I'm going to just run over with this blade. So I'll be making lots of scary noise, but I'll get through it. And if I think it's too big, too tall, too mean, I won't even run it over. So that's the game plan. Well, in addition to my shredder and my tractor, I brought over some things I've been buying at yard sales. That was given to me. It's a box blade, probably from Tractor Supply. But my daughter has an ATV, so she can hook it on that and drag it around. That looks like it's a little eight bottom plow disc. That'll make some grass grow. So that's for her ATV as well. Let's set up in the woods and we'll see how good I do. If I can fit, and that's the benefit of a small tractor, the little Mahindra 1626. It's not real wide, but if I can fit, I will. And if I can run it over, I will. All except I saw some hickories in here, and if I see a little oak or something like that, the idea is to save the nice trees and get rid of the scrub. So, and then leave a shield around. So I'll leave a little shield. I'll start in the back here corner, right here where I know that she wants all this done. We've talked about it before. And when she gets here, she can direct me more fully. right, well, I'm gonna put you on stop motion for the rest of this. As you can see, I couldn't get a camera in there and knock it out of my hands and I'd shred it. But let's take a look at this thing and talk about it. So I am running in granny gear, right? And to shred all this, I'm looking through the trees as far as I can see, and if I see a big hole, I drive for it. And then I come back over the hole eventually. It's gonna take me a while to get this all shredded down. I'll put you on stop motion from a distance, but you can see I'm already opening up this for a pasture. I saw a couple of beetle kill trees in here that'll need to be cut down, unfortunately. But you know, I will cut them into lumber and do something. This guy will knock a huge hole in the canopy. See right there? All the beetle kill on that oak. I don't know. It could have been hit by lightning, but it looks like it's, well, they're still green at the top. I'm gonna leave him alone. Let everybody pick on them. The woodpeckers need homes. But already I could see sky right where I'm beginning to get that. So maybe we can grow some dense shade grass in here. I'm going to stick you over here, which is a little bigger view of the woods. Put you on stop motion. And again, I'm doing this in granny gear. So slow, but everything to my PTO that I can. Running over trees is tough, y'all. We'll see. My view of, we'll talk about this. My view of farming equipment is if I hired somebody to do it, they'd pay me 3 times what that shredder costs to do this. So if I burn up a shredder doing this, I've already come out ahead. So I use my equipment. I'm not afraid to use my equipment. And that's just the way it is. And it's built to be used. And so I'll use it up. I see it as a consumable like toilet paper. If I wear out my tractor doing what tractor things need to be done, I'll buy another one. So, and that's the story of my life. Let me go ahead, set you on stop motion, and we'll go ahead and finish this up as much as we can. All right, so it's sunset. It's time for us to go to eat. I'm not hangry, but I'm this close to being hangry. Let me rotate and we'll take a look at what we got done. All right, before you couldn't see any of this. And now we can see all the trees. I pushed down the big ones, moved some logs. All these families of oaks. There's a lot of oaks in here, and I'll move the cedar out from them so they stand a chance. Make some holes so we can plant some, well, I don't know, Kentucky bluegrass or something that can survive maybe in the shade. We'll see. Pennington deep shade always worked well for me. Still got some work to do before we could let animals in here. There's too many little half sticks poking their little eyes. So I found an elm and I found a hickory and an oak. The rest of it's cedar. So, but I'll get it cleaned up. I did damage that cedar over there, but we're gonna watch that one. It's a split cedar, so they tend to fall eventually anyway. So see how it's two growing. We'll talk about getting that one down. It's a big one, so I don't know if I want to mess with it right away. But there we go. This will serve me too as I'm building my reciprocal roof. I'm going to get, I don't know, maybe 6, 8, 10 logs out of here. Who knows? Good bit of work. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. I ripped off my box blade in the most bizarre Esker kind of a accident ever, and I log pushed my tire right off the bead. So if I subtract that out, this is about 4 hours of work. If I factor those in, I've been here for about 7 hours. A full man's bit of work. All right, this is Steve, 1,000-Year Home. That looks so good with the sun coming through it. Did you ought to see this in the video, Des? Look at the sun coming through. You could see the canopy. I've never seen that before. It's beautiful. All right, like, subscribe, follow me. Bye.